Coming up on this episode of Freedom from Fire, we'll spend some time exploring autism spectrum disorder. We'll look at the importance of recognizing the signs of autism and knowing effective ways to approach a person with autism. We have three guests with us to discuss their personal experiences with both autism and firefighting. So stay tuned as we begin Freedom from Fire. Hello, and welcome to Freedom from Fire. I'm your host, Fire Commissioner Derek Sawyer. Here at Freedom from Fire, we bring you fire and life safety information and introduce you to our local fire safety partners. On today's episode, I'm going to sit down with Philadelphia firefighter Michelle Pickens, along with special education instructor and volunteer firefighter Kyle Downs. We'll discuss autism, its characteristics, and how important it is for first responders to recognize the signs of autism. Later, we'll talk to Fire Chief Bryant Folk of the Willow Grove Fire Company. He has a wonderful program to educate first responders about autism, and we'll hear about why he started the program. Hope Worldwide Ministries also will be on the show. But first, I would like to talk about a group that makes a difference in our citizens' lives daily. The Philadelphia Fire Department works with a lot of great organizations to improve our neighborhoods and the quality of life for its residents. One of our partners is the Hope Worldwide Ministry of Greater Philadelphia. Together, the Philadelphia Fire Department and Hope Worldwide Ministries Greater Philadelphia chapter provided and installed smoke alarms for Martin Luther King's Day of Service. Student producer Mike Brown got the chance to attend the event. Here's what he found.
On a chilly Saturday morning, volunteers from Boys Latin of Philadelphia Charter School, Hope Worldwide Ministries, and the Philadelphia Fire Department gathered to embark on a service project to commemorate the Dr. Martin Luther King Day of Service, installing smoke alarms and educating families about fire safety plans across the Philadelphia region. Judge Renee Caldwell-Hughes summarized why the day was so important in her opening remarks to volunteers.
So your work today will reduce the number of fires, will keep our communities safer. It's huge, the work that you are doing. It matters enormously.
After a speech by Commissioner Sawyer, volunteers hit the streets, going door to door across the greater Philadelphia and New Jersey region, installing smoke alarms and distributing information about fire safety plans. Crystal Morris from Hope Worldwide Ministries talks about why their mission is so important.
We are out here today with the fire department because we think every life matters, and we understand that all of our lives are interconnected, just like the row houses we're standing in front of. When something happens to one, it affects either side. So we feel the same way about people.
Commissioner Sawyer and members of the fire department's fire prevention unit also took to the streets, with the commissioner installing smoke alarms side by side with volunteers.
Today we have almost 400 volunteers, and we're canvassing over 2,000 houses giving out fire prevention information.
At the end of this successful day of service, the fire department, along with Hope Ministries and its volunteers, were able to install dozens of smoke alarms to celebrate the Martin Luther King Day of Service and make the communities just a bit safer.
Joining me from Hope Worldwide is their program manager, Crystal B. Morris. Welcome, Crystal.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. So tell us a little bit about this Hope Worldwide.
Hope Worldwide is an international organization that serves the needs all over the world. So sometimes it's disaster preparedness. In the States, we have Saturday academies, mentoring programs, anything that is a need in an area, we go in and try to meet the need.
Great. So we've partnered with you for the past 2 years for MLK Day, right?
Yes, we
have. It's been a great program. Tell
been a
us
fan.
what your thoughts are about this partnership.
We very much enjoy the partnership. We are excited to be able to have a grassroots effort to get in and help people know about fire safety. So it isn't just about doing the blanketing of information, but the opportunity to go in and actually install detectors in conjunction with the fire department has enabled us to have something that's ongoing.
Great. So we look forward to meeting with you next year, right? So
Absolutely.
this grant, we were able to purchase the smoke alarms through a grant, right? How difficult was it to get the grant for us?
It was not difficult at all. This being our second year, we had a track record. So last year we did a great job. So they were anxious to support us again this year because they knew what to expect.
Great. 300 volunteers. Was that hard to get?
300 volunteers took some effort, but we are excited. The neighbors came out in full force. They were very excited to be a part. We have partner organizations. We had people from all over the city. We even had people drive up from Jackson, Mississippi
Wow, that's
to
big.
participate in our program.
Now that's commitment.
Yes, it is.
Well, we really appreciate that partnership. 300 volunteers. It's hard to get 300 people in one location. So we look forward to working with you next year. Another grant, more smoke alarms, more home visits.
Absolutely. We look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Our Man on the Street team went out into the cold to see what people know about staying safe when the temperatures drop. Let's see how well people did.
So this is a cold weather quiz, and it's going to test to see how much you know about staying safe during the cold winter weather months. So how far should you keep your space heaters from flammable objects such as paper, clothing, bedding, curtains, or rugs? A, 1.5 feet, B, 3 feet, or C, 5 feet?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with 5 feet.
5 feet?
5 feet?
It's actually 3 feet. So your space heaters need space, but not that much space. If you are going away during cold weather, you should still leave the heat on in your home so the pipes don't freeze. What is the recommended temperature you should set your thermostat at? A, no lower than 55 degrees. B, no lower than 40 degrees. Or C, 33 degrees.
A. 33.
B? It's actually A, no lower than 55 degrees. If you lose power, you may use a portable generator to power some of your home appliances. Where should you place that generator? A? Oh, wait, what were you going to say?
Outside. Outside.
Outside is correct. Do you know why?
Because the generator's going to run off gas, and if you had gas inside or in a garage, that's going to give you a carbon monoxide issue really fast.
How often should you have your chimneys and heating equipment cleaned and inspected? A, once every 3 years. B, every other year. Or C, every year.
Every other year?
C.
Every year.
Every year is correct. Not only will an annual cleaning and inspection keep you safe from fires, but it also will save you money. The temperature is 5 degrees, and the wind chill is 30 miles per hour. It feels like negative 19 degrees outside. How quickly will you get frostbite if you're outside and have exposed skin? An hour, which is A, B, 30 minutes, or C, 10 minutes?
30 minutes?
B. Minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes is actually incorrect. B, 30 minutes.
Really?
So you're just really cautious.
Really?
But there's no problem with that. Yeah, 30 minutes. Do you feel like you're ready to brace this Philadelphia cold now?
No.
You will be. Just get some mittens and get a hat and lots of layers, and I believe in you.
Okay, thank you.
As we've discussed in previous episodes of the show, first responders are trained to handle all kinds of emergency situations. This training enables first responders to provide an effective and efficient level of care. In recent years, there has been a new type of education that has been taking place, and that education involves the population affected by autism. Here are some facts about autism. Autism affects 1 in 68 children. It's the fastest growing serious developmental disability in the United States. Autism costs a family $60,000 a year on average. Boys are nearly 5 times more likely than girls to have autism. 1 and 42 boys will be diagnosed with this disorder. There is no medical detection or cure for autism. To help us understand autism and how it could affect a firefighter or an emergency medical technician, I have two guests here today. Kyle Downs is a special education instructor and also a volunteer firefighter in Doylestown. Michelle Pickens is a Philadelphia firefighter and has a child with autism. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How you guys making out?
Good.
Great.
Enjoying the snow.
Enjoying the snow.
Enjoying the snow.
So, what is autism?
It's a neurological condition that affects the way in which an individual understands social norms, the way they perceive their world, the way they make decisions.
You're right.
And it's often associated with a very concrete interpretation of the world around them.
Great. So, how would you tell if someone was on the spectrum?
It's very difficult to tell until you actually speak to a child or an adult with autism, because the spectrum is so broad. You can look at a person and not realize that they have autism until they start speaking. A lot of it is repetition, the eyes, looking directly in the eyes, so they don't like doing that. Tics, maybe moving their hands around, back and forth, something like that.
So, what are some of the best ways for a first responder to interact with someone with autism?
From my perspective in the past, it's often always be empathetic.
Right.
Try not to be sympathetic, and remember they're a person, like any other person you meet. And remember, if you start to see some signs, lack of eye contact,
Right.
or perhaps some trouble communicating, they may not enjoy some of the stimuli we enjoy, like visual stimuli, flashing lights, auditory stimuli, sirens. And also, if you're wearing your self-contained breathing apparatus, remember, you don't look like you normally look.
Right, right.
But just remember to stay calm and always communicate as effectively as possible.
So, what shouldn't you do?
You shouldn't directly approach them using your physical hands or anything. You want to make sure that you speak to them calmly in a calm manner and fashion. You want to make sure you're not hurting them in any way or restraining them in any manner. That also keeps them from, getting scared or startled.
And try to keep all instructions as concrete and simple as possible.
Yes.
Right. So, you're a parent. You have a son with autism, right?
Yes.
So, what can other parents do to help prepare their children for emergencies?
That's a good question. What I used to do was take my son to the firehouse
That's a good idea.
when he was young.
Right.
We in the fire department always want to take the kids to the firehouse when they're in kindergarten or in daycare centers, but taking an autistic child to the firehouse gets them familiar with the firefighters, gets them familiar with what we look like when we put the gear on, not be afraid of the lights and the sirens, because you're allowing them to see that and touch it firsthand. And whereas they would normally run, my son actually, and he's 22 now, runs to the window and tells me every time the truck comes down the block, because he loves the firehouse. He loves fire trucks now.
So, as a firefighter, have you had children with autism visit your station?
We have on a few occasions. We do the same thing, try to familiarize them with the trucks and the equipment, and we also try to stress to families it's wonderful to have a pre-plan, as you would with any child. Have a safe place to go, a safe location to go. Guarantee that no matter what the situation, you have a simple, concise plan that they can follow and do calmly.
So, how often would you practice that plan? So, I know we asked families with children that don't have autism to practice the plan during the day, during the night, as many times as possible. Would that hold true for children with autism also?
Absolutely. Repetition is key.
Right. So, Michelle, your son is 22 now, right?
Yes.
And he's been part of the fire service, so I think he probably has a little better understanding of what we do. Tell us about that experience with him growing up.
Having him go to the firehouse and and interacting with the guys and gals at the firehouse. He's became very familiar. When they would come on my block for any reason, putting up smoke alarms, they would stop in and see him and speak to him, as well as when we practice, and we do practice our home escape plan. He knows that he is supposed to go to the door, creep out the door, go down the steps, and go outside and wait outside on the pavement.
Right.
However, that situation could change because of you never know. So parents and myself should always be responsible in having working smoke alarms in the home, making sure that it's consistent in planning and preparing if there is an instance that you do have to leave your home for any reason.
So is there a need to get them used to the sound of a smoke alarm?
Exactly. We do put the make the smoke alarm sound so that he understands what that means. We do make him aware of it by having him in the daytime as well as at nighttime, so he understands what he's supposed to do.
Great. Well, Kyle, Michelle, I thank you for coming on the show. I think you provided some great information, some great tips. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, thank you for joining Freedom from Fire. When we come back from our break, I'm going to be joined by Fire Chief Brian Folk from the Willow Grove Fire Company. His personal experience with autism led him to create an educational program for first responders. He's here to tell us all about it, so stay tuned.
Community shows.
Hello, I'm Fire Commissioner Derek Sawyer. I'm your host of Freedom from Fire, where you'll find out the latest fire and life safety information. We'll teach you about smoke alarms, home escape planning, and all those very special fire safety tips.
Hi, I'm Thera Martin Milling, inviting you to watch News You Can Use. It's a show that's all about what's going on in the city of Philadelphia. We bring in newsmakers, politicians, nonprofit leaders, grassroots leaders, everyday people from the community. It's all about positive things going on in the city of Philadelphia. Check us out.
Hi, I'm your host, Todd Johnson, of a program called Bridging the Gap. We have a motto: when one's on the right, another's on the left. When we reach towards the middle, we begin to bridge the gap. Love somebody and be nice to everybody. Bye for now.
You can check out Freedom from Fire, News You Can Use, Bridging the Gap, and many more of our shows on LaSalle TV, Channel 56.
Welcome back to Freedom from Fire. Welcome back to Freedom from Fire. I'm your host, Fire Commissioner Derek Sawyer. Today we've been focusing on autism and what the impact it could have on first responders during an emergency. Now joining us is Fire Chief Brian Folk of the Willow Grove Fire Company. Chief, how you doing?
I'm well tonight. How are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So tell us a little bit about your background.
I've been a firefighter for 30 years, both career and volunteer. I currently serve as the chief of the Willow Grove Fire Company, and I work full-time for Pico Energy at their fire academy.
Great. We had some training with Pico, right?
Yes, sir.
So how did you first become involved in autism awareness?
I guess for me it's personal. My son was diagnosed with autism, and over probably like the first year, I had been contacted by some people that were out on emergencies, and they were kind of struggling as far as what to do. One was a lost boy that had walked away, and they didn't know where to start. So they went through their basic search patterns, but it was really, I gave them a little bit of direction, like find out what the routine is, really make sure you search the house, see if there's a safe spot where that person goes. And here the kid was riding his bike to school because it was an off day. And for someone on a spectrum, routine is kind of key.
Right.
If you tell them something, they're concrete thinkers. So it was really based on that, and a book that a boy in New Jersey had put out, a high school student, was around emergency services. His brother was brutalized by the police, in his opinion, and because they weren't educated. And I figured if a 18-year-old kid can put a training program together, I could probably do it. So I reached out to some organizations through the National Fire Academy, and what really astounded me is that I got 3 emails back with some direction, like here's some links to stuff, and 300 emails that said, whatever you find, there's nothing. Can you help us out?
Right.
So I made my fire department the beta test, put a program together, and it's been pretty well received in both Bucks and Montgomery County, both police departments and fire departments. And that kind of led us down a path to Temple University contacting us to put a video together for firefighters.
Great. So you put a video together. Tell us, what's the name of the video?
Seeing Beyond the Smoke, Autism, Seeing Beyond the Smoke.
Great. So tell us about that project.
Temple University got a grant to do some outreach training. One specific grant was for the police departments on how they can interact. And a lot of times when you see interactions, there's not a whole lot of positive interactions with someone on the spectrum in the police departments. With the fire departments, what I saw is that a lot of the interactions were where someone went back in. So I did a lot of research and met with Temple, and they wanted to get the message out there. So we put a script together. Some of the local departments were involved, and what I thought was going to be kind of a small project really has taken off across the country. People I went to the National Fire Academy with that living out in Alaska have seen this as part of their core instructor upgrades in Alaska. So it's really been a win for everybody. So the people that have viewed the film so far, they enjoyed it? We have about 200 emails or phone calls that said the information that we received made a difference on this call, or the information I said made a difference in someone's life. So to me, that one would have been a win. That's right. That many has really been a positive outcome. That is huge. So if someone wanted to view your film, how would they go about seeing it? There's 2 ways. If you go to Will Grove's website, tiller10.com, there's a box that says autism. There's a link right to the video right there. Or you can Google via YouTube, Seeing Beyond the Smoke Autism. And it's probably posted on about 100 different places right now. Nice. So tell me this, do you think progress has been made with autism awareness, or do you think there's more work to be done? I think there's definitely more work to be done just based on the amount of people that are reaching out to get trained. I think some people are being very proactive. I've seen a lot more reactive training, like, hey, we had this interaction and it didn't go so well. So I think that more and more people are trying to be proactive because it's affecting them not only professionally, but it's personal. Right. With 1 out of 68 children being diagnosed, those children grow into adults. Exactly. You know, my son's a freshman in high school, so he's growing up and he's not going to ever change. He's going to have autism till the day he dies. So it's learning how to help him deal in this world. He sees it a little bit different than us, that's all. Right. So what would you tell those in the first responder community? What instructions would you give them on how to be proactive in addressing autism? I think one of the things is that we really pushed in Upper Moreland was advanced notification, whether it's a premise alert or whether it's a note in the CAD. We actually have a database that's kept in the police code, but it's also linked to the fire department and EMS MDT. So if they were coming to my address, a special caution note would come up, and it gives them that form that gives them a picture. What are things that might be a trigger? Right. What are things where he might be prone to hide? What are positives, negatives? What's he like to be called? Medical information, allergies, and that's available while they're going there. Great. So you provided us with a lot of information. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I hope your information helps us do a better job dealing with autism. So thanks for joining us. Thank you, Commissioner. On Freedom from Fire. Well, I always ask my guests to take the fire safety pledge with us. So do you mind taking the pledge? No, sir. Great. Raise your right hand. I love my family, and I'm responsible for their safety. Therefore, I pledge the following. I pledge to have at least one working smoke alarm on each level of my home. I pledge to test my alarms as recommended and replace my alarms with new lithium battery-powered alarms when needed. I pledge that every family member will sleep with their bedroom door closed. I pledge to develop and practice the home escape plan. I pledge that if I cannot afford smoke alarms, I will call the non-emergency number 311 or visit www.philip.gov/311.
All of this I do solemnly pledge. Well, as we wrap up our show, I want to let you know about the upcoming events. Friday, February 6th is our 6 ABC Save a Life program at the Philadelphia Fire Academy. Come on up, 5200 Pennypack Ave. The Philadelphia Fire Department partners with 6 ABC, Home Depot, Kidder, and Tri-State Toyota to provide smoke alarms to the Tri-State area. Remember, if you would like to find out more about LaSalle TV, you can check out our social media sites. And if you are interested in learning about the Philadelphia Fire Department, visit our Facebook, Twitter, and web pages. I would like to once again thank Fire Chief Brian Folk and firefighters Michelle Pickens and Kyle Downs. I would also like to thank Crystal B. Morris from Hope Worldwide. And I want to thank you for tuning in and watching. So until next time, remember, fire is everyone's fight. Stay safe and remain free from fire.